Hello there everyone, my name is Kirsten. So for today's video alone, I thought I would do something a little bit interesting today, something I haven't done in a very long time, and that is of course doing a YouTube tag video. In particular, I thought it would be really fun to do the gamer tag, which was something I discovered on YouTube a long time ago. I've seen other YouTubers do this kind of video, so I thought, you know what? This actually does seem like an interesting tag video to do, so I figured I would go ahead and share with you my little inner gamer type of girl. So I thought this would be really interesting to do. So before I completely start this whole video, if you guys are new to this channel and if you haven't done so already, please do consider subscribing to my channel with notifications on. I upload brand new videos every single Friday. So without further ado, I am gonna go ahead and dive right on into this tag video. Question number 1 is, what is your all-time favorite video game? Ooh boy. There are tons of video games that I absolutely love, very close and very dear to me, because I feel like it's hard to pick one video game that I absolutely love, because I love almost every single game in my collection. That is really hard for me to just pick one at the top of my head that I would consider one of my all-time favorites. But for the sake of just, you know, talking about like more than one video game that I like, the first at the top of my list, and this is something that I consider one of my #1 all-time favorite video games, is of course Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy X is considered one of my all-time favorite video games. I have been playing the Final Fantasy series since I was about 12 years old. Final Fantasy X is considered one of my all-time favorite video games, especially in the franchise. Out of all the Final Fantasy video games that I could love, 10 is definitely at the top of my list. The other two I can think of is, of course, I love Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider is so fascinating to me because I get into archaeology and adventure, that kind of stuff, and the fact that there is a woman involved in the video game is just something I get the most enjoyment out of. Like an awesome badass heroine on an adventure searching for artifacts and relics, that kind of thing, which is something I really love very much. And of course, another one that I can think of, and of course I have to add in a bit of a horror element to it, you know, is of course the Silent Hill franchise. Because those are the 3 video games at the top of my head that I absolutely love and adore the most. Question number 2 is, what is your current favorite video game? My current favorite video game at the moment is of course Bloodborne, because, you know, why not? I've been playing it lately and it's a lot of fun, but at the same time it's also very frustrating at times. More frustrating than any other game I've played. It's definitely up that alley with Dark Souls. That's for sure, because both of them are equally as frustrating. And of course, I love Alice Madness Returns, and another one that I can think of at the top of my head is probably The Evil Within. Question number 3 is, what is your favorite video game genre? My favorite video game genre would have to be between like fantasy action type of video games, and of course I have to incorporate some horror survival. So between those 2 genres are the ones that I usually get into the most. Anything that's fantasy, action, horror is something I'll usually get into. Usually those are the ones I get into the most. Question number 4 is, how long have you been playing video games? Oh goodness. How long have I been playing video games actually? I don't know the exact age of when I actually started to develop my love and start playing more video games, but if I had to randomly guess, I would say probably 5, maybe 7 years old, somewhere around there. That's when I developed my love for video games, and ever since then, I have loved video games ever since. Question number 5 is, what's the first game you ever played? I think the first time I've ever played a game, I think I started off with playing PC games in particular. I kept on thinking like maybe it's the Freddy Fish games or possibly even the Barbie games when I was really little. But for some weird reason, I feel like that doesn't necessarily count for me because anybody can say that, you know, they played PC games before or whatnot. So in terms of like the actual first console game that I've ever played, first time ever, I of course remember playing the original Frogger from the first PlayStation console. You could say that's one of my first console games that I've ever played. Question number 6 is, what game have you clocked in the most hours? Oh goodness, that's a really good question actually. I usually don't keep track of like how many hours or minutes that I've actually played a game or something along those lines. If I had to randomly guess, I would say it's either between one of the Final Fantasy games or possibly even probably Okami. And another one I can think of is possibly even Bloodborne. I feel like between one of those 3 games I have clocked in like the most hours. Like I'll usually spend like about 100 or 200, maybe more hours just playing those video games in particular. Question number 7 is, what's your longest gaming session? When I was about a teenager, I remember my longest gaming session probably lasted for almost 24 hours. I think it was about 20 hours, maybe 18 hours at the very most. I remember I used to play video games like all day and night practically. Like I wouldn't even go to bed until like 5 o'clock in the morning with one of the games that I was playing during the time, so I guess that's the longest I've ever played a game. Question number 8 is, who is your favorite game developer? I don't know anybody that I know of that is a good gaming developer, but if I had to choose a company, I would say it would probably be either Capcom, Square Enix, or Ubisoft or something like that. Usually between those 3 gaming companies, I usually like how they produce games. I usually like the games that they produced, so those are the ones that I absolutely love the absolute most. I think they're pretty good companies. I mean, there are other gaming companies in general that produce good games, but are like a shitty company in particular, so decisions and whatnot. Konami. Question number 9 is, who is your favorite hero character from a game? Ooh, goodness. Who is my favorite? I would say it would be between Yuna from Final Fantasy X or possibly even Lara Croft from the Tomb Raider series. I think between one of those 2 are usually the ones that I look up the most. Question number 10 is, who is your favorite villain. To be honest with you, I haven't really thought about this. There's not too many that I particularly like. At least there's not very many that I can think of at the top of my head. But if I had to randomly guess, I would say it's between either Albert Wesker from the Resident Evil series, or another one that I can think of is the Queen of Hearts from the American McGee's Alice series. Between one of those two villains are usually the ones that I like. Other than that, I really can't think of anything, or I can't think of any villainous characters that I can think of that I would consider to be my favorites, but those are the two I could think of, practically. Question number 11 is, who is your most hated character of any game? I want to say probably Emily from Until Dawn. She's the most bitchy, most annoying person in the game. Like, I absolutely can't stand her whatsoever. Out of all the characters in Until Dawn, I can't stand Emily. As a matter of fact, when she gets killed off in the video game, I just don't absolutely give a shit. She's bitchy and she's annoying and I can't stand her. I honestly can't. I absolutely hate her guts. She's just a terrible character. Absolutely terrible. Question number 12 is, what gaming systems do you own? I practically own every single PlayStation console except for the first PlayStation. I used to have like an Xbox 360, but I think I only played it like one or a few times, and then I still continued playing the PlayStation console games, mostly because I grew up playing the PlayStation games. And I also have a PC that contains like a few games that I play every once in a while. So question number 13 is, what was your first game system? A computer, definitely. But if you're talking about like console-wise, definitely the first original PlayStation, hands down 100%. The PlayStation gaming system was the first ever console that I've ever owned in my life. Question number 14 is, what is your favorite gaming system and why? I like all of my PlayStation gaming systems, but if I had to choose at least one that I could pick out of all of them, I am gonna have to go with the PlayStation 2, simply because I am considered an old school gamer. Like, there are games that I still play today that are from the PlayStation 2 console. Of course, with some other games, it is great to see that there's like HD remasters and just remasters generally, but there are still some other PlayStation 2 games that still have not been in that development, or better yet, probably never will. So occasionally, if there's a game that I absolutely miss so much, I'll go back and like replay it and such. And I just have really good memories of the PlayStation 2, simply because I felt like that one was my life. Like, there was so many games that I loved playing on there, like Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, you know, Silent Hill, the Fatal Frame series. All of those games I remember growing up with and absolutely loving so much. There are so many other games that I could name too, but you pretty much get the point. I just have so many good memories off of that gaming system generally. It's just been my childhood and my life. I just love every single one of my PlayStation 2 games so much. Question number 15 is, do you prefer to play guy characters or girl characters? To be honest with you, I do not mind either or, but usually if I'm playing like a game where you get to like customize like your own characters, like their genre and stuff, I normally go with like a female character pretty much. I don't mind playing guy characters, but usually whatever chance I can take, I usually go with female if it's custom made. Question number 16 is, do you follow walkthroughs or do you play through on your own? To me, it usually depends on the game itself, but usually some games are self-explanatory to the point where you don't necessarily need to follow by a walkthrough to get through a game, but then with others you do. So I think in my case it usually depends on the game. Some games are a little bit more complicated to the point where you don't know where to go or where to do, but then other games, especially if it's more like storyline based, then usually I don't need to use a walkthrough whatsoever. Again, it usually depends on the game and what parts I'm stuck on, and if it's easy to get through or whatnot. I don't mind either or, but most of the time I try to play through as much as I can without a walkthrough. Question number 17 is, have you ever been into a gaming convention? To be honest with you, I don't think I have, but I would really love to have a chance to experience that at least once in my life, because I'm sure it's a really fun event to go to, and I think it would be really awesome if I could go to a gaming convention one day, because I think that would be a very interesting experience. Question number 18 is, what game are you most excited to come out in the future? There's definitely quite a few video games that I'm definitely pretty excited for to come out in the future. One of them being is Alice Asylum, which is something I covered sometime in the past. I'll be sure to link it up in the cards for you guys to go ahead and check out. Another game I'm also looking forward to is yet another one I covered about a couple weeks ago, and that one is, of course, Someday You'll Return, which is like a Silent Hill inspired video game, which looks really interesting to play actually. Obviously, I haven't heard anything about like Kingdom Hearts in a very long time, and I'm excited for the third installment to come out, and I'm really anxious to play it. Final video game I am definitely most excited for, but most definitely not least, it is Resident Evil 2 Remake. I have been waiting to hear about this for such a long time, and finally the trailer for it finally came out, and I'm even more pumped and so excited for that game to come out because of that reason alone. And of course the next installment of Tomb Raider, which is, I think, Shadow of a Tomb Raider. It's very nice that the Tomb Raider series has been continuing lately, which is making me even more happy and so excited for these games to come out. All these games that I've mentioned, I am definitely looking forward to, and to grab my hands and play them when the time comes. So I am definitely looking forward to that in the near future. Question number 19 is, what is your best memory of a video game? There are many video games that I've played that I would consider them to be my most best memories. It's hard for me to pick at least one because there are just so many that I can think of that I had like a really good time playing. Not so much with others, but with myself experiencing these games. Final Fantasy X was definitely one of them because that is the game I was most excited to play at that time, and when I had a chance to play it myself, I was easily pleased and impressed, so I would say that's my best memory of a video game. Question number 20 is, what's your worst memory of a video game? With any video game in particular, usually my worst memories of any video game is just having to just start all over for whatever reason due to not saving my progress, or just trying to get through a boss that's really pain in the ass to deal with. Usually between either or, I'm just not a huge fan of. Definitely for sure. Final question at number 21 is, which video game character do you see yourself as? Or if you had to be represented by a video game character, who would it be? A video game character that I could probably see myself as or represent is one of the three characters that I can think of. One of them being is Yuna from Final Fantasy X, Lara Croft from the Tomb Raider series, or Alice from the American McGee's Alice series. Usually between one of those two, I could definitely picture myself being related to these characters, or more or less just having a similar personality or being adventurous, anything along those lines. I could definitely picture myself as either one of these characters for sure. So that is pretty much it for everything I thought I would be sharing today on this gamer tag in particular. I hope you guys enjoyed this video altogether, so if you did, be sure to sucker punch that like button down below. Comment down below as well. Let me know if you want to participate in this tag video, and be sure to leave the link to that video in the comment section down below so I can go ahead and check them out, or just try to answer these questions in the comments down below. And of course, if you're new here and if you haven't done so already, please do dedicate the time and effort to subscribe to my lovely channel, join my little army of darkness, and if you hit that notification button, you will be updated with brand new videos every single Friday. And if you guys are interested in following me outside of YouTube, all of my social medias will be listed in the description box right down below, if you are indeed interested in checking them out yourself. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a completely chill week and awesome day or night, and I will talk to you all soon in the next video. So until then, stay completely dark and so fucking brutal and awesome, my friends. Take care. Bye for now.